Hi guys! Today I'm going to be doing another experiment and I'll fill you in on that later. The beginning of this is going to be your more traditional paint pour. I'm using my Liquitex Basics with my Liquitex pouring medium and a 70-30 Floetrol. That's 70% water, 30% Floetrol mix to thin it down. Pretty standard, I think. Dioxazine purple, ultramarine blue, cadmium yellow light hue, which is a translucent. Titanium white is going to be my base coat here, and the Naphthol crimson are my colors today. And I'm going to start out. I'm not using any silicone in this, guys. I am going to use a little bit of silicone or oil. I am going to use a little bit of my coconut oil spray. I like this stuff. It's thin. It's about the same consistency as your 3-in-1 silicone. And I could just spray it on top, and it mixes, or I should say fold. You don't want to mix it too much or you'll get it too thin in there, and you'll get tons of small cells but not really any big ones. So you just fold it in two times, maybe 3, and I get really awesome results with that. I'm just going to put some of my white down first. I'm going to torch my little base coat here real quickly, going over it real quickly just to get some of these bubbles off. I think I was a little in too much of a hurry when I was mixing it. Got most of them. There are a few more hidden in that little pool there. Just get those out of there, and I do see a little hair. Challenges of being a pet owner right here. If I can get it out. Come on. There we go. My animals are with me even when they're not. And to each of my colors here, I'm going to add just a little bit of coconut oil here. Just a spritz. 1, 2, 3, and 4. A couple of little folds. I really don't want to mix it too much in there. It's already quite thin. The coconut oil anyway. The spray. The other version I get where it's just a pump is much thicker, and you can really whip it in there and try to break some of that up. But this, I am not going to do that. For this one, I'm just going to set this right here in the center. And I am going to pour through my little strainer here. This thing is awesome. Pet hairs, schmutz from your paint can, any little thick bits that might have fallen in, crusty bits from your thing, it all gets caught. Just going to start out with a little bit of purple, a little bit of my red here, and a little blue, a little yellow, and then we're going to go more of each one. I'm going to mix it up and put some of this yellow right in between those two. And I can see all of the bits that this thing is saving me here. All of the little things. I'm just sort of randomly mixing the colors up, not in any super set in stone order. Just want to get some good color on there. And I do see quite a bit of little grains. Let's see if we can bring it in there. That it has saved. I'm going into my paint and I'm going to go right into my soapy water with this. Rinse it, rinse it, rinse it. And then into my clean water with it, and it is all ready for my next painting. Tell you guys, with a strainer like this, the paint comes off much, much easier than dry. So have a little thing waiting. I'm going to lift up on this and try to get it off without dripping. I've been trying to do for a couple of days now an experiment using the Liquitex acrylic spray paint. I keep wanting to test this to see what happens if I spray it over top, but my pores keep coming out so gorgeous I don't want to mess them up. Oh my goodness. I just don't want to even mess with it. Well, we'll see when we spread it out what happens. It might be that I'm willing to just risk it just for the sake of science and really finding out what the reactions of that spray paint is. Now it does say on here, danger extremely flammable, guys. Torch before you use this. Do not torch after. You can maybe use a heat gun, maybe, if you are very, very careful and have a fire extinguisher nearby. I happen to have one in my hall closet just in case. Really be careful. Aerosol of any sort is extremely flammable. So I will not be torching if and when I do use this. So I'm going to use this last, if at all, just to see what happens. This has just, I'm going to just go side to side long ways here. And sort of start stretching it out. Back and go the other way with it without going over the edge. I'm just stretching it out a little bit here and there, hoping that the bubbles come up. I don't know how that happened. The white underneath has decided to just come right up through. And give a little bit of a pop there in the center. See if I can't. Give it a little swirl here. Without making too much mud. You don't want mud. I wanted to get rid of that tiny little dot of white that was just very much out of place. Many, many more bubbles coming up. Stretch it slowly. Move it around gently. Let those bubbles come up and those cells form before you start running paint over and losing that. you do have some working time here before it really starts developing a skin and setting up on you. That is just so beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have such a hard time with this if I mess it up, guys. I might not even put this on my channel just because it will be such a heartache. I know you're supposed to go back to center, but I don't want to lose too much of that edge up there. I'm okay with the center being off center a little bit. Let's see if we can't bring this down to this corner. Gently. Don't want to lose too much yet. Go over the edge over there. I'm going to bring it back. Really gently, if I can. See if I can keep a lot of this from just running off. Let's go. I'm going to save some of that. Did it go over? If not, it is now. Let's come back this way. I think I'll be coming over here for this one. This corner over here. And I got stuff in my way. Just try to get it down there without it all running off. Good. Now I'm going to try to gently bring this back a little bit. And I think the next time I do this, guys, I'm not going to use a white base coat just because I can see where some of that is popping through, but that's all right for this one. It is going to be an experiment. I've just decided I'm going for it. Let's see if we can't fill in some of these divots here. Just add a little bit of character as we go. And this just happens when the silicone or your oil, whatever you're using for that, kind of just pushes a little too much of the paint out of the way. And let's go ahead and torch it again. You can see lots of bubbles popping now. As we stretched it out, it let all the rest of those, or most of the rest of those, really just come right up through. And that is beautiful. How are we looking on the camera here? Let's see if we can't get this. Sorry if I'm jiggling you. Just a little bit more in the frame. I hope you guys are seeing how beautiful this is. And I think I am going to test out the Liquitex here spray paint. Just because in this one I love metallics. I didn't use any metallics because I wanted to do one experiment at a time. In the next one, if I decide that this looked awesome, then I will try it with one that has a metallic mixed into it. Didn't want to really make too many variables here. See how it reacts to just the acrylic, Liquitex acrylic. Then I'll see how it reacts to the acrylic and the acrylic metallics. Then maybe later we might experiment with some of our Pinata alcohol ink. Since we can't, if we use alcohol ink, we will not be able to torch. So why not go with it? I think I'll use the white spray paint. And this says titanium white Liquitex spray paint. It is a water-based, and it says it's compatible with acrylics. So we're gonna see what kind of effect we get on this with that. And no more torching after this, guys. Oh, wow. That is certainly interesting. That I will tell you what, when my other colors, I did order some other colors. I have my titanium white and my transparent black. This one says transparent black, and it does say it is also compatible with acrylics. It doesn't say it's acrylic. It just says it's a water-based paint, low odor. I really don't notice any more smell with this than with the acrylics itself. This is really, really neat. I can do a lot with this, I think. A lot. I think I am going to use some of this transparent black. Ah! Well, that's weird. I almost wish I hadn't done that, just because the transparent black is really different. And I'm going to move this just around to level it again and to see what else happens with it. Definitely seems to be more liquidy. The real thing I'm curious about is how, oh, my cup's sticking, and I got a problem with my base here, is how it's going to dry. What it's going to look like when it is dry and sets up. It might change a lot, or it might not change at all. I think just for the sake of color, and it is a more of an experiment. I want to see how it reacts with paint being dripped on top of it. So I'll go through. I'm not sure about that transparent black though. That seemed to really, I think the opaque, more opaque colors like the titanium white might be better for something like this. Dealing with the oils and all that. Oh, that's neat. There's some neat effects when it's the oils put on top of it. It kind of is a little more liquidy and it wants to flow. So I'm just kind of swirling it around without making too much mud here. And I am gonna just play. It's just an experiment. Let me get a bobby pin. One of my bobby pins. This thing is just a little too sharp. I just have a little bobby pin that I have. Oh, can you see that? Oh, let's get it in the camera here. Just a bobby pin that I've bent out. I'm just going to start in the center. And really just kind of play.